You are now tuned into Flippin' the Birds, a Philly Sports Network podcast.
Oh, it would have definitely helped if I had everybody already loaded on the screen. But furthermore, that's how my day has gone. Welcome to Flippin' the Birds. My name is Bryan Cameron alongside Morgan Burkett. This is episode 106 of Flippin' the Birds. This is the Eagles Mailbag for Week 9, and we are joined by our special guest, Birdgang 31. How you feeling, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on, guys. Can't wait. Really excited about it.
Now, I know you had Morgan on quite some time ago, right?
Yes. It was a great show.
Yeah, had fun. Thanks for having me again.
Hey, no problem.
I can return.
Anytime you guys want to stop by, I told you guys.
For sure.
That's what it is. Y'all always welcome over there at PSN.
I'm glad we can return the favor.
So as I get the notification for Philly Sports Network that we are live, and we got already somebody in the chat. So shout out to Birdgang. There we go. Nice.
What up, Gran?
How long you been doing this for, man?
Like 4.5 months, man.
Okay, you've been grinding. I mean, your YouTube is flying.
It's climbing. I just want to keep the pace, keep the steam. You know.
I feel like climbing is such a modest way to approach it. I mean, to me, you're flying up the charts with your subscribers, brother. I mean, salute to the grind, honestly.
Hey, thank you guys. Much love, man. I keep trying. I'm grinding, trying to give the people what they want to hear, and you know, it's just good to be able to be in this community and meet so many great people, along the way. Just help me out, what I'm saying, from the LBs to the 500s to the Shakes to the Philly Mikes to all those guys. I mean, they've all gave me, Liam had Liam on the show too, man. He gave me some good advice, and everybody's just been helping me grow, and I just love it. And I couldn't do it without all you guys out there.
How did I miss that Liam episode?
Huh?
Was that not tweeted? Like, how did I miss that Liam episode?
Yeah, you can check it out, man. It was good.
Was it before you?
He's actually one of my first guys I had on. To be honest,
listen, we share that in common. Liam was our first guest on our very first episode, and just really quick, I do gotta apologize. A lot of people in our community are celebrating Diwali today, so you can hear a lot of fireworks in the background. It's the festival for Hindus and kind of just embracing, good over evil and light to darkness. So you will hear that in the background. I do apologize for that, but yes, we do share that in common. Liam was actually our first guest. Of course, I mean, I'm part of PSN, and Liam kind of gave me the opportunity to start this podcast, and we got Morgan along with us now.
Yeah, man. I reached out to Liam, man, and he came by. I didn't think he was. I was a huge fan for so long.
He's a great guy.
And I was like, whoa, he's in my inbox right now. He actually said, yes, I only have like 50 subscribers or something like that. And he was down to do it. So it was awesome. We had a good show, and man, much love to you. Shout out to Liam, man.
Yeah, Liam goated, honestly, man. He's definitely goated in this community. And the YouTube community for Eagles, we can say analysts, let's call it what it is.
Sure.
It's such a strong community. It's definitely the opposite of Twitter. I mean, Twitter has its toxic moments, but YouTube, like, it has a special group of guys that you can actually really tune into and just like vibe out with. And, again, salute to you because you implemented yourself into that group of people and you're climbing, man. Like like I said, you're flying up the charts with subscribers right now. So definitely salute to your grind.
Much love to you guys, man. You guys grind over there too, man. I told Liam, I'm like, hey, whenever y'all need somebody, be a thing, I'm saying, holla at your boy, you know what I'm saying? But I also did start a new network too, BGN Sports Media, so all NFL network. It started off all Eagles network, but just getting enough people to keep it going all the time like I want to. I opened it up to the all NFL, so that's also out there. You know what I'm saying? You guys I'll subscribe to one of those too if you guys like.
Absolutely, man. So let's get started with some Eagles talk. Really quick before we get started, I really hope Jay Fitz is somewhere watching this right now, or if he's going to come in a little later. But Morgan, I actually found a beer called Kangaroo Boxing, and as you know, Fizz actually asked us in the chat if we feel like that we could beat a kangaroo 1-on-1. So that's been an infamous quote with him. So I actually got this beer just because of him. So I'm watching it.
I don't know that you can fight a kangaroo, Brian, but I think that beer might end you, to be honest.
Listen, I mean, 8.5 and yeah, why not?
Yeah,
right?
that sounds tough.
I remember that show too. Was it Bradley on that show? Sean Bradley?
Yeah. We had that.
Actually, yeah, we asked Sean. We asked Sean about it, and oh, the legend of the kangaroo boxing.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of legends, let's get into the questions. We do have a lot of questions that regard a certain future NFL legend. But first and foremost, the question from the legend himself, Jay Fizz: has there been anything you've seen this year that makes you want to keep Nick beyond this season? Of course, Nick being Nick Sirianni, the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. So, whoever wants to take this question first.
Yeah, sure. I don't mind. I feel like I'll start it off. I think there's a lot of good. I think similar to Jalen Hurts, you see glimpses, right? Like you see some good play design. We all bought in at the beginning of the year to this, whole mentality. Whether or not that's worked out is kind of up for debate. But I think you do see glimpses. I don't think it's, what you hoped or what you expected, but this roster has holes. Jalen Hurts is growing into his role. We're not sure if he's the guy. It was always going to be a roller coaster this season. And I think I've seen a few things, especially just schematically. I know he's got problems calling plays, but I do like some of his schemes. I do like some of the things he runs. Just watching the film back, we've all seen the open receivers. It's not that there's not open receivers. Obviously the running game's been frustrating, but there's pieces there. There's bits and pieces there. I think what might be the best course of action is to get yourself an OC that will call plays. That's what I think is. I don't know if he's a good play caller going forward, but I do like his schemes. The players seem to still like him, and that they fought through adversity. So there's something there. I don't know if he's like a Hall of Fame coach that we just so happened on, or the new young upstart like the Bengals found or the 49ers found, or I think that's what we were hoping for, and I think he's just not that guy yet, but there's some good. So yeah, I if for nothing else, decent scheme, and the guys seem to like him.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that too. You know what I'm saying? Earlier in the year, I would have answered this question straight up no. You know what I'm saying? I'm done with Nick. Sure. You know what I'm saying? Your flower gardening and all that extra stuff, rock, paper, scissors, stuff like that. But over the last 2 weeks, to be honest, man, it's really been changing my idea of him. You know what I'm saying? See that he is one of those coaches that, can listen to the players and start adapting. Even though it took him, 6-7 weeks to start listening. You know what I'm saying? I think he came in strong. He thought he had a really strong idea of how he wanted to mold this team. And he wasn't going to listen to nobody, not even the fans, when it came to actually changing what he wanted to do. You got to respect it. He's been waiting his whole life to be a head coach. But I think those fans finally got to him. And the players definitely got to him and start speaking vocally about the offense and the defensive side of the ball. And I think that, he over the last 2 weeks, especially last week, running the ball 46 times, he kind of okay, guys, this is what you want. This is what we're going to do. And we went out there and they ran the ball pretty well. As long as he can continue this growth in his coaching, kind of like he said with the flower thing, I've been telling people all week, it's like we sprouted now. You know what I'm saying? Right. We got those 2 leaves now. The rest of this season, let's see how many more leaves and how many more branches we can add to this bush, and hopefully that bush will be there by the end of the season. And we'll be sitting there in the wild card spot, most likely. So I guess, yes, if he can continue to do it, yes. Sure. If he continues this growth that he's showing that he can change and adjust, then yes, I do think he should deserve at least another year.
Yeah, for sure. Brian doesn't look so hopeful, unfortunately.
Well,
the look he gave me,
I'm hopeful.
Looks like we're going to do a 180.
No. Listen. I'm smiling because lately I've been feeling like Stephen A. and Skip Bayless. Like I'm always coming back with this one statement all the time. I want to see Nick here next season. I want to see that more than anything in the world because I want to see what another style of quarterback looks like with Nick Sirianni. To be God, the God honest truth is this: if Jalen Hurts doesn't ball out for the rest of the season, he's gone. It's point blank. Like it's written in stone. They want so many people opposed to Jalen Hurts. Nick was brought in because of Carson, and then you had the rumors of Deshaun, like Sirianni. Wow, Roseman almost hired an investigator to look into Deshaun's case for Deshaun's people. So that shows you right there, like they feel like Jalen's not the guy. Now, this isn't a dog on Jalen, but we've been talking about what a veteran quarterback will look like in this offense. I'm very curious to see what Nick Sirianni's offense looks like when he has a QB that can actually be trusted with play calling, because we saw that he gave the offense to Jalen. He gave the reins to Jalen. You call what you want out there. I got your back. I'm going to defend you no matter what. And he's done that. But when he took the reins away, the Eagles ran for 46 times against the Lions.
Right.
They played efficient football. They took the reads away from Jalen. I mean, it's point blank to see. Jalen is not the guy for Sirianni, in my opinion, at the end of the day, unless he completely does a 180 for the rest of the season. But I definitely want to see Nick stay on because I love the culture he brings. I love the dynamic, the camaraderie he brings to this locker room. And I feel like with the right guy, he can really be successful. Hall of Fame? No, I'm not going to say all that. But he's going to be, in my opinion, he'll be up in the level of the Frank Reichs. He'll be in the level of, of what Doug was with us, opposed to, what Chip Kelly was, or like, a bunch of these scrubs coaches were at the end of their tenure. I think he has a lot of potential, in my opinion.
But to Jalen's defense on that,
Hey, don't you do that. Don't you defend Jalen on this show.
I don't care if you get Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, any of those guys, and put them in the offensive scheme that we were running those first 6 games. They're all suck. All of them.
But here's my issue.
The key to a successful offense is running the ball. You know what I'm
correct.
saying?
You're absolutely correct. But with the RPO, Jalen's responsibility is to figure out if he has the better read or the running back has a better read. And for what we've seen, Jalen kept the ball most of the time because he felt like he can run better than a running back or he could pass better. Now, my issue with Jalen is even when he keeps the ball, like he's so paranoid in the pocket. Like he's so quick to just want to escape the pocket opposed to actually, letting the routes flourish. And we've seen in the film, like Devontae Smith is open majority of the time. Dallas Goedert is open majority of the time. He has Miles Sanders or Boston Scott in the flat. Like he has the ability to be productive in his offense, but there's something wrong with Jalen's clock, and nobody's figuring that out for the weirdest reason. And it's not Jalen's fault. He's 23 years old. He's not going to have everything figured out. The issue at hand is it's just I think the coaches, like I said, they were designed for Carson. So they felt like, hey, let me give everything to Jalen, the responsibility. We got to really evaluate him this season, but it's a burden for a 23-year-old. So like, hear me out. Like I'm not against Jalen Hurts at all. To me, I was thinking the world of him before the season started because I thought this offense would really take off with him. Mm-hmm. But it's just Jalen is his own enemy right now, in my opinion.
And yeah, I can get that too. Like I said, Jalen definitely has lots of room to prove. But like I tell people, name a quarterback that has started their first 11 games and been top flight. You know what I'm saying? There's not very many of them throughout the history. For him to be top 10 all time in stats, I know stats isn't everything, but that's just to show you one thing, that he can do some of these things. Like throwing a ball 40, 50 times with Jalen Hurts is a disaster waiting to happen. He's not that quarterback. You know what I'm saying? But, if you kept him in the 25 range to 30 range, then that's more of his play ability. You know what I'm saying? He's a dual threat. You need to use both of his weapons. You know what I'm saying? Like, he runs the ball pretty well. And I do understand he should have gave the ball to Miles a lot of those times. You know what I'm saying? For sure. But like I tell you, when you're running the RPO, right, and you're not running the ball, it's not an RPO no more. It's a PO. You know what I'm saying? Like I heard
it's all pass option.
It's just a pass option. Like you have to run the ball. Like it's not that those plays weren't set up for success, but you do the math. We had backup linemen in, right? So you look at the average quarterback, 2 to 3 seconds to throw the ball, right? So you're taking the first, second and a half, doing this RPO that's not really working because no linebackers are getting sucked in because we don't run the ball. You know what I'm saying? No receiver routes are getting cleared up. You know what I'm saying? The NFL, there's only so much room you have to catch the ball in the NFL, in general. It's not like college, And then when you're not pulling up those linebackers or those safeties aren't backing up or even no one's worried about the run game at all. Those windows are even smaller for Jalen. So, yes, of course, by the time he finishes with our makeshift offensive line, by the time he goes through that, should I get the ball in the mouth? Should I keep it? Oh, I'm going to pass it. By the time you see him on that rollout, by that time, you got defensive ends down his throat. You know what I'm saying? Linebackers down his throat. and he's running for his life most of those times. That's the reason why I defend him and say that's a lot of the time. That's the reason why he's not making it to the second, to the third receivers, because those guys are open. You know what I'm saying? I watched the Phil 7 too. Those guys are open, but you also got to put yourself in his situation where he's a young quarterback. He's trying to do his best. You know what I'm saying? And just us throwing the ball all them times for all them games just wasn't helping them. If you notice, the games we didn't have to throw the ball that many times, you know, the Atlanta game we didn't throw as many times. You know what I'm saying? Like those games are the games we win. You know what I'm saying? Like Jalen still puts when we're down, I know it's most of the time in garbage time, but he still makes good throws. You know what I'm saying? He's still, you know, he's still pretty accurate, you know, and everybody's like, I just feel like the Eagle fan base is just too quick to give up on the guy. Like he showed us greatness at the end, not greatness, but good things at the end of last year, and he showed us good things so far this year. You know what I'm saying? Like he is still young, he is still learning, but it's the offense of play calling. It's like Nick Sirianni's job to put this guy in the best situation. You know, he came to us saying he's gonna put all the players in the right situation that fits them best. And I don't feel like those first 5-6 games he was really doing that for Jalen Hurts, considering we didn't have, you know, guys like Brooks, Sayamalu. You know, those are starting caliber lines. I don't care about any backups that come in. If you take those guys out, Brooks is a Pro Bowler, one of the best in his position. You know, we had Lane Johnson out for a couple of games. We're moving, you know, what's his name? Mailata over playing right tackle after he was hurt. He wasn't playing very well, you know, on that right side. So it's just like some of the things, just like, yes, Jalen does got a lot of room to improve, but at the same time, I'm not even over giving him, you know, the spot of being our quarterback moving forward. You know, let's see what the rest of this season, like you said, let's see what the rest of this season comes out. If he adjusts, runs the ball, you know what I'm saying? That helps out everything, not just Jalen. That helps out the receivers get open. That helps out the linemen from being hurt. If you noticed last year when we were passing offense, all our linemen kept getting hurt. Guess what? Because they're backpedaling the whole game. These are 350-pound linemen. They shouldn't be backpedaling the whole game because we want to throw the ball 50 and 60 times a game. And you wonder why these guys leg injuries after leg injuries after leg injuries. You know what I'm saying? Like they're all getting hurt because they're not doing what they're built to do. These are giants. It's not like we have a bunch of Jason Kelsey's on our line. Like Jason Kelsey might be cool with it, but these other guys are like big mammoths of men. You know what I'm saying? And to see these guys backpedaling, they want to be imposing their will on other people. Just like you seen last week with Landon Dickerson. Landon Dickerson looked a lot better last week when we were running the ball. That's what he does. He's a road grader. These guys need to be opposing their will on that defensive line.
The majority of these linemen are built for the run game. And I'm like I said, I'm not opposed to Jalen, but my thing is this offense seems to be predicated based on a veteran quarterback. And Nick Sirianni, in my opinion, he came in and he was sold on Carson Wentz. Let's call it what it is. He was sold on having Carson Wentz as the quarterback. Was Carson Wentz a better option? We can't really say because we don't know what he would look like.
Right.
But he was sold on that idea, and then he had to kind of restructure everything around Jalen. And he went back to Jalen's Oklahoma days where the RPO was efficient. But like you mentioned, college is not like the pros. You can't run a college offense and expect it to be productive in the NFL anymore. Like that, the days of Chip Kelly pulling that off and Pete Carroll pulling that off is non-existent.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not against the idea of, you know,
and the run. Like I said, if you look at every single team in the league right now that's, you know, have top flight quarterbacks, you know what I'm saying, passing the ball a lot. All those teams have 100-yard a game running backs.
Absolutely,
you know what I'm saying? Like their running backs are running the ball because that's what opens up the pass. Like you learned this from the first day of Pop Warner. You know, that was Nick's biggest mistake. It's like I said, I don't think that the plays that he calls are horrible plays. Like they'll be good if you're running the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the key to it all. That was the key to the reason why we're sitting here right now at 3-5 as opposed to being like 5-2 or something like that. If we ran the ball in a lot of those games, keeping some of these great quarterbacks off the field, man, we'll be in a lot better shape right now. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like I feel like that was the missing piece for like 4 weeks in a row. Just if you just ran the ball, you know what I'm saying? Yes, we had penalties too that kind of cost us, but you just ran the ball, you know what I'm saying? Like it'll help everybody. The defense, all these 3 and outs, the defenses, they're not Superman over there on that defensive side. You know what I'm saying? We're missing, you know, we can use better linebackers, we can use a couple of other pieces back there, but with the defense that we have, if you didn't go 3 and out every freaking drive because you want to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game, then they will be a lot more fresh. And
they wouldn't be so gassed.
Yeah, they wouldn't be so gassed. Because we noticed a lot of those big games, even the Chiefs, what was the halftime score? we were still in it at halftime. You know what I'm saying? It's just the second half. You know why? Because they were running on us the whole first half. You know what I'm saying? Then they lit us up in the pass afterwards. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was like, just take the playbook of the other team and what they're doing to you. Why we look so bad and why they look so good when they play us. You know what I'm saying? The missing piece there was running that rock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think something that I've been talking about too, which kind of feeds into this, is I think that a lot of the attention's kind of being put on what's happening on Sunday, and I think that there's a big disconnect what's happening leading up to Sunday. It seems like, and it ties in with not running the football, but it seems like this offense is being sold as some offense that needs to get 10 yards every play, or it needs to get a first down every play. They're really not playing again, something you learn at Pop Warner, you can't put yourself in third and long situations. You got to take yards, you got to take what's given to you. And exactly like you're saying, you got to give what the defense, or take what the defense is giving you. And I think that there's something being taught, and it started early in the season, and it started even when we came into the Dallas Cowboys game going, okay, this is going to be a shootout. There's more than just, a statement being made there. I think it reverberates around the locker room and saying, okay, we're going to take shots all the time. And if we don't convert on those shots, we're not a very good offense. Right. And I think that with Jalen Hurts, it's really ingrained in his brain that he needs to make a play on every play, essentially. And so that's why you see like the clock is kind of going off. He's trying to get out of the pocket, and then he's trying to wheel and deal when really easy, simple reads are wide open. And, and this is where we're kind of talking about is whose problem is it? Because we're seeing these receivers being schemed open. And on the other side, we're seeing Jalen Hurts make some pretty incredible plays, but it's not meshing, right? And I just think that this offense is being sold in that locker room as one that really needs to make these big splash plays. And then you have a coach whose actual scheme is really just about marching down the field. They'll take their shots, don't get me wrong, like there's shot plays in there. But really when you're looking at it function, it's like, okay, let's take 3-5 yards. Let's take 5 to 7 yards, right? And Jalen just not being taught that. And this is where, you won't find out for 3 to 5 years whether or not that's just him. Like Carson, we didn't know that he wasn't going to use his checkdowns and he was only going to target Ertz until year 4, right? So I think that there's that issue. We don't know if it's Jalen or whether it's, how it's being coached during the year, but it just seems like there's something there where he's just not willing to take the easy reads. And I don't know if it's pressure being put on him or just the way that he's taught. There's a huge footwork problem. We can get into that too, but his feet just aren't set. But again, that's coaching, right? That's something that should be coached up. So I think that the problem here is, can this coaching staff fix Jalen Hurts' issues, or are they just not a good fit? And that's what I'm worried about.
And all,
go ahead.
Go ahead. So off our questions, right?
Sure.
Here's my question. Well, it's a 2-part question, honestly. Jalen Hurts is being coached by a childhood, long time childhood coach, Brian Johnson. So if it's footwork, if it's mechanics, isn't it something that Johnson should already had like in mind and understood that this is going to be something that he needs to really help Jalen in this progress? And the second part of the question, do you think if the Eagles came out saying Jalen's our QB of the future, do you honestly think that we'll see a different Jalen opposed to what we're seeing right now?
To your first point, when you got that sandwich shop that you really like, and then you take a buddy there, and then the buddy goes, wow, this is really shit, and I don't like it. And then you go, okay, actually, yeah, it is really bad. You know what I mean? So it's like when you have that friend that you've had for a lifetime that's seen you all the time, he's not going to see all your flaws, right? He's going to be like, wow, this guy's great. This guy can do whatever he wants. So I think that's just the problem there. But yeah, with what was the second part of that question? Oh, if they just said, I think Jalen Hurts has got a chip on his shoulder regardless. I could think you could walk up to him and be like,
wouldn't it make it easier if like, hey, Jalen's the guy of the future? Like, then it eases the fan base, because right now, I'm sorry to interrupt you, bro. It eases the fan base, because right now how he is implemented in the fan base that even though it's a mockery to QB factory, the idea is like, hey, we're gonna keep developing QBs until we hit the right one. They turned on Carson Wentz after 5 seasons. After signing a contract extension, they turned on him after 1 bad season. Jalen Hurts was supposedly drafted to be the backup, not the starting quarterback, not the future, just the backup quarterback that they could develop and probably flip in the back end some other time. So it's kind of like the issue at hand is the front office. If the front office came out and said, like, if the Dolphins came out and said, hey, Tua's our guy, you think Tua's going to start slinging and be comfortable. If the front office, by the way, I love Tua. If the front office came out and said, hey, Jalen's our guy, don't you think things would be a little bit more, like settled and kind of easy and then like easygoing, opposed to hearing, hey, Eagles are investigating Deshaun Watson. They're really interested in Deshaun Watson. They got 3 first-round picks. They can move it for a QB.
I don't think it really matters for Jalen. I don't think he's not built like that. He's already been through that. You know what I'm saying? He's already been through the fire. If anything, it's the coach having to do more of the adjusting because, even this flower thing that we keep talking about, that should have been the preseason. That should have been the offseason where you're talking about roots and flower and building all this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
By the way, your concept of the flower is 10 times better than Sirianni's. I just want to put that out there. The whole going into a bush and branches, everything, you really sold me on that. I almost grabbed my flower pot over here and started, branching my own stuff.
All right. But that should have been something that he started a way ago. You heard it early in Nick's games. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'd be like, oh, why didn't you run the ball? And he was like, well, we ran it that one time. We didn't get very many yards, so I kind of scrapped it out of the playbook. Things like that. He's continuously said that. That just made him look silly as a coach. You know what I'm saying? It made it seem like he wasn't on the right game plan. Like, if you're willing to go into a first quarter of a game and scrap anything out of your playbook because it didn't go right on the first time, that's just rookie. It's rookie mistakes. You know what I'm saying? He got out-coached. And it didn't help that we played a lot of good teams with a lot of good coaches, right off the jump. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that showed how much of a fresh rookie head coach he was, maybe being the coach in the OCs a little bit,
right,
more than he thought it was going to be. And then maybe we expected a little bit more, because I keep going back to this. Frank Wright was the offensive coordinator when we won the Super Bowl, right? After Frank left, Dougie P's coaching went down.
Right.
Our offense went
Super
down the drain, right? And now we go over here, we go get this Nick Sirianni guy that was underneath him, but maybe it was Frank Wright the whole time, and you can't really get another version of him. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe Sirianni wasn't this, genius that everybody think he was because he was in that, coach system. They had good plays and all this stuff. Maybe he's just another, kind of like how Dougie P was. They're just like riding the coattail of Frank Wright. You know what I'm saying? But we got him now, and he's gonna have to learn the hard way how to get himself together. Like, it's just fresh. Like I said, fresh coaches. All of our offense is so young. You know what I'm saying? Our quarterback's young. Our coaches are young. On both sides of the ball. But you seen it even with JG over there. It took him a while before you had guys like Fletcher Cox say, "Hey, man, I won a Super Bowl. I'm a Pro Bowler. You're not getting me in the right situation." And we all watched him chasing screen stuff. That is no. You don't get a big 350-pound Fletcher Cox having him chasing running back flats and stuff. That was the dumbest thing you can ever think of. But he listened to the players, and he adapted. And you started to see a change in our defense now. We're not getting gashed so much on the run game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Swift was a good running back. I really was expecting him to light us up.
Me too.
This last week, what I'm saying? But you didn't see that. And even the game before that, we kind of helped the Raiders in check in terms of running the game. Yes, I know, what's his name?
Kenyon Drake was kind of gashing us a little bit.
Yeah, he kind of gashed us a little bit, but it wasn't as bad as the
fantasy that night.
games before, you know what I'm saying, where we just constantly get doing one after another, boom, 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 boom. It started to come that week, and then last week he kind of put it together where we didn't get gashed too much.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with everything you're saying. It's not often we can have a question that lasts for half the show.
So that was a great question. I'm looking at the question like, damn, this is not going to go well now because we spoke so much about Jalen Hurts. We spoke so much about how, possibly the team needs to give Hurts more than just one season, even though I'm a little against that right now. The next question is a little bit of a doozy. It's a 4-part question. So we'll try to take it as easy as possible at the time. This one comes from Hasty Ryan 20 on Twitter. So first question, was the Lions game a change of heart? We kind of addressed this on our last podcast when we asked each other if we were convinced by this win. It's the step in the right direction. I'm not fully convinced that this team is going to the playoffs or this team has finally got everything together because, like I mentioned before, like there's still so many things that are off, and the fact that they limited Jalen Hurts to 14 attempts concerns me more than it provides comfort for me.
Are we doing one at a time? These questions.
I mean, it's up to you. It's like, so you
That's
guys
fine.
want to chime in for this one real quick,
Sure.
or you want to keep moving?
Yeah, I mean, like similar. We talked about this on Tuesday, so we'll make it quick, and then we'll get your opinions. But I just think it's been so much up and down this whole season that it's really hard to say this is the new norm. I think it's going to take 2 or 3 weeks in a row. It can't just be the Lions. You know, I mean, no offense to the Lions, you could pretty much do whatever you wanted to, and you have a pretty good chance of winning. So I just think there's not much to evaluate there. But this next test, I think, this week is a really good test. If they can keep doing what they did the Lions game, then I'm one step closer to being convinced. And then the next game, and like we're talking about, it's a full season evaluation, right? But this next game is a big step. They found out what works for them, so hopefully they stick. And the Chargers, not a great run defense, so hopefully we can just do the same stuff.
Don't let Joey Bosa hear that.
Yeah. Exactly. Like you guys both said, you know, like not exactly a full change of heart, but like I said, a step in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? Like, do I want to see us go run the ball 40 sometimes, you know, against the Chargers? Not really. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you need to do that. I think, you know, it's time to take that next step. You know what I'm saying? Still run the ball, but now let's add in some of those plays that were, you know, you did have going for you, you know, earlier in the season that maybe didn't do exactly what you wanted it to. But now that you're running the ball, you should see those plays open up a lot more, and you'll be able to fully appreciate it. So if they can continue their same path, like the defense continue to be what they have been over the last 2 weeks, and then, you know, multiple, you know, a lot more man and some more blitzing, things like that, utilizing your linebackers in the way you need to utilize those type of linebackers, then yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can see it, you know, being what we want it to be moving forward. Like I said, our slate gets a lot easier, so it should work out in their favor down that they have this change of heart, you know, to make them look like better coaches. That's for sure.
Okay. And so the next question, ironically, will the game planning stay on par? So that's the biggest concern, in my opinion, of anybody that's analyzing the team right now. You don't know what to expect from this team, but if the game planning does stay on par, kind of like what Doug said, if they rely heavily on running the ball and they start working Jalen's, you know, passes, little, you know, sprinkle in a little here, a little there, just to kind of get his eye test moving in the right direction, pretty much. Then, you know, it's progression in the right direction at the end of the day. Oh wow, you actually took a while to just
Yeah.
Did I take my hat off for this one?
Game plan stay in par. Like I said before, I hope so. That's what I'm hoping. Because like even that was out there, you know, whenever we ran the ball, you know, one or fewer times during the drive, you know, Jalen's stats were so garbage, you know what I'm saying? But whenever we had 3 or more runs in a drive, you know, his stats went up, you know what I'm saying, passing wise too. So that's what I'm saying. We stay balanced with this guy where he's not having to think so much, you know what I'm saying? I think the whole biggest thing with Jalen, he shouldn't have to think every single play. You got all this in your brain, you know what I'm saying? What I need to do? Do I need to give it, go it, pass it, give it, go it, pass it, like over and over and over? It's like repetitive for him. You know what I'm saying? He's too young really to be throwing all that on him. And not even guys like the Brady's, the Mahomes, they don't have to worry about all that in their play calling scheme. You don't see these guys every single play. They have running plays where they just hike the ball, hand it off to the running back, let it see whatever happens.
No RPOs.
You need that freshness in your brain to keep you fresh. You know what I'm saying? You need to let these linemen wear out the defensive line. So it's like as long as they can continue doing that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think, you know, Nick's got it, but I can't give it 100%, you know, until I see it happen against the Chargers. Because I think with the talent that we have on our team, man, we should be able to beat every single team left on this schedule, period. You know what I'm saying? The talent that we have, you know, giving them the right play calling. And, you know, I know any given Sunday, but we should be able to win all these games moving forward. Even the Chargers, you know what I'm saying? They are weak in the run game. Take advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be probably preparing a little extra. So go ahead and sprinkle in. Still need to see some play deep balls to Quez Watkins, too, because that dude's
he disappeared in the last game. And only 3 freaking receptions for the wide receivers in the last game. But I'm not trying to get my blood boiling tonight. So really quick, just a side question. So we have somebody in the chat, and I'm very curious right now because the name is Mrs. Birdgang 31. So, wife?
That's my lady.
All right, and is that
my better half?
Are those your kids in the picture?
Yeah.
Beautiful family, brother. Beautiful family.
Yes,
2 girls?
absolutely.
Yeah, she does all the supporting. She does all the behind the scenes on my show and stuff like that. Make sure the links are getting dropped and all that good stuff.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? She definitely got
Shout
my
out
game
to
on.
everyone behind the scenes, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So all right. So back to our question. So Randall or Birdgang 31, which one you prefer? I don't know if you've been listening to us lately, but we've been on a tear with I want to give credit where it's due, because we were the first ones to mention the whole Russell Wilson situation, and I feel like everybody's just running with it now.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Wilson to Philly. Yes, he has a no trade clause, but it makes sense for him to come to Philly because the NFC West is loaded with defense. The NFC East isn't. The NFC East also has an offensive line that works for him. So the next question on the podcast is, what will be the market for Russell Wilson?
For me, too high.
Yeah.
Like we don't like. That's why I really like. I'm saying, like, I wish everybody just let the season go. You know what I'm saying? I'll be more inclined to think about another quarterback maybe after the season. If we are running the ball, because I always said that if Jalen couldn't perform, if we were running the right type of offense, then I understand you move forward. But for the first half of the season, we haven't been running the right kind of offense. So I don't know how. And everybody comes out and says it, run the ball, run the ball. You heard a whole stadium of people saying run the ball. So to know that was a part of our offense that we were missing, and not to still be so hard on Jalen. Like, quarterbacks can cost us draft picks, and even not draft picks can cost us money. You know what I'm saying? We're about to hit a off season where we have both. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be able to have, hopefully, 3 first-round draft picks and a ton of money. Everybody should be really on the board of Jalen being the guy. You know what I'm saying? Because think if he is the guy, now we got 3 first-round picks, to get some real key players that we need on our defensive side of the ball, to help our defense be that much more greater. And then we have monies to go into these free agencies and pick up some big boys to help it out. You know what I'm saying? Because more people want to come if he is the guy. You know what I'm saying? Then if he isn't the guy, then you have to use them all, use your draft picks, or, use all your money and then not be able to build around the team. You know what I'm saying? By getting these big marquee guys like Russell Wilson, or, I heard people talk about Aaron Rodgers, or even Deshaun Watson for that matter. And I don't even want Deshaun Watson at all. But,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think everybody does.
I'm in the same boat.
Okay. You know what? You take this one. Yeah, you go ahead. You do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Trader, go ahead.
Trader. Okay. So what I think is it's really going to depend on Howie and Jeff Lurie and what they want for this team. And I think if they're still in that, get used to being in the playoffs, this is the new norm mindset, then Russell Wilson makes more sense than anything. And what will the market be? Probably 3 first-round picks. And I don't think that's going to be our first 3-round picks next year, but I do think that means probably 2 of them next year and then 1 in the future. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe they take a player instead of one of those picks, and maybe that would be a later pick. But I'm thinking it's going to be around the tune of that. And it kind of falls into that next question as well with Brandon Brooks, and he might be a nice trade bait for a team that has really struggled on the offensive line. The reason why, and me and Brian have been talking about this, the reason why we feel pretty good about taking Russell Wilson in is, I think one of the problems you have with this offense is something we've been talking about with Jalen Hurts, is an identity problem. We don't know what we want to be. We're one team, one game, and a different team the next. And I think that Russell Wilson coming in solves that immediately. You can throw 40 times a game and he's going to be your guy, and he'll check at the line of scrimmage, and he'll check down into different plays, and he'll hit your check downs, and he'll run the ball when it needs to be ran. And he's not going to put up with, a coaching staff that doesn't know the direction you want to take him in, right? He knows what he wants. He's had the same head coach for a long time, and with, different coordinators, and he's kind of been the same guy. So I think just he brings stability. Will he take you to a Super Bowl? I'm not sure about that, but I think that Howie and Jeff Lurie, if they want to win a Super Bowl, that's like a big, I don't know, that's like their crown jewel, is bringing Russell Wilson here. Howie's still trying to make up for mistakes he made in previous drafts. He said time and time again that he's been enamored with Russell Wilson. But I like I like the idea that we go into this draft with 3 first-round picks and try and build that way, because 5 to 6 years down the road, I don't think we're better off for going to get Russell Wilson. Next year, absolutely. 2 years, probably. But down the road, it's really going to leave you bankrupt. And then I feel like the rebuild's inevitable, right? So whether it's next year or 5 years down the road, I don't know that bringing in Russell Wilson wins you a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So let me tell you guys the story.
Brooks' status part, Brooks hasn't even played 3 years in a row. You know what I'm saying? So it is definitely time to get rid of
against
him.
Denver, but you're absolutely right. It's definitely
get whatever you can. But on the Russell Wilson note too, it's like, how many of these star players that we do have that are veteran, older players are even going to be here next year? I don't foresee very many of them. And then you bring in, if you did bring a guy like Russell Wilson in, now you're taking away all your star players too. And then you still need to replace those guys with some more talent. You know what I'm saying? So the draft pick way would be like the way you want to do that. Like if we got Russell, we're now having to give, like you said, future first rounds, but okay, the Eagles said the next 3 first rounds, we give you one of them. And then maybe something like that might work. But other than that, I don't think Seattle would do that. I think they'll at least, like you said, want 2, if not all 3, to get them. So then you got to look at the money you're going to pay him, once he does get here. So that hits your salary cap. Now you're broke with no draft picks. And those old players are going to be gone. And now we're going to be sitting here with a bunch of young guys and Russ, and that's not winning, Super Bowl.
Right. Honestly.
So you mentioned something very key, and we're going to walk down memory lane in my personal life. So Howie Roseman, you said he's enamored with Russell Wilson, right? They missed out on Russell Wilson. They made that very clear when Chip was here. So when I was younger, I first met my wife when I saw her at a school function, right? And I told buddy of mine, hey, like, watch, I'm gonna marry that girl one day. Never spoke to her, never nothing before that day. We didn't know each other. 2 or 3 years later, we end up dating. 5 years later, we're married. So my thing is, the whole moral of the story is, at some point when somebody is so infatuated or so enamored with something, at some point you're going to end up with that object or that person.
Is she around the corner, Brian? Are you getting brownie points right now?
No, she's in the shower. She calls me a creep for this story all the time. She calls me a creep. But watch, I'll ask her. Hey, babe. I'm talking about the story that I first saw you and I claimed that I'll marry you. What do you say about the story all the time? See, I'm a creep. Yeah, I'm a stalker, apparently.
I'm glad she puts you in your place.
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
Good.
There's no hesitation in that. As you guys hear the fireworks. Sorry about that. I do apologize. Again, they're celebrating Diwali. When somebody is that enamored or that infatuated with something, they end up with that at the end of the day. They have 3 first-round picks. Yes, it's gonna cost a lot to get Russell Wilson. But I spoke to Sean about this as well in a DM. It's not gonna cost more than what people think, in my opinion. Yes, it'll be 2 first-round picks, but you're talking about the Dolphins pick and the Colts pick, probably a 3rd, and maybe a player like Brooks or Cox or somebody of that sort. Do you trust Howie to make a trade, an actual efficient trade, or do you actually trust Howie to draft when he's drafted so poorly the past couple of seasons? Let's not forget Jalen Reagor's on this team opposed to Justin Jefferson.
But this year, he did a good job.
He did do so far.
The team actually got something over Howie. You know what I'm saying? And then who do they all compare? When people think of Jalen and like what he can be, who's the name you hear? Russell Wilson. So you kind of, if you stick with the plan,
but if you can have the actual
growth in the right way, you got your Russell Wilson, and he's a lot cheaper for the next couple of years.
But if you can have the actual object, the actual one, the original version that you want is so bad, if you can actually obtain it, who's to say how he doesn't do it? Like, let's think about it. Like, this is the guy who went out his way to be the first person in free agency a couple years ago to sign Javon Hargrave. So a wild deal that nobody understood. And now Hargrave is looking like one of the best defensive tackles in the league. He pulled off a Jordan Howard trade. He's pulled off a lot of things that nobody thought he could ever pull off. Alshon Jeffrey, Torrey Smith, the same offseason. We won a Super Bowl. Garrett Blunt late in the offseason won a Super Bowl.
JJ.
Then that was highway robbery in that trade.
Yeah.
So, like, again, if Howie is on this or is in this organization come this offseason, you can't rule it out. Like, no matter what, you can't rule out they end up shipping Hurts with those picks.
Jai has an album coming out, I think, or already did.
Wait,
by the
what?
way, yeah, he's a
I thought you were
rapper.
doing sports
He's
on
a rap.
e-gaming.
No, he's like a rapper, song artist now. I heard some snippets, so yeah, seemed alright.
Hey, check him out.
Yeah,
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Got a YouTube page?
I don't know. I follow him on Instagram. I saw that he's putting out an album. I don't know if it's out already. Yeah. See, I had a question about that too. Does that mean you thought I was the creepy guy? Or are you talking about Chris? I assume he's talking.
Oh wait,
I assume you're talking about Chris.
I don't know. I mean,
what? Like, do I give off creepy vibes?
Creepy person. Like, listen, I was just manifesting the future. Like, I was talking to God in that moment. Like, hey, God, this is gonna be my wife. Like, that's not creepy. Okay, no matter what she says, she's still here, right?
Manifestation is very powerful.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he said
Chris. All right, we're good. Yeah, that's valid. I think that's fine.
All right, so God, we're 45 minutes already.
Yeah.
And they're still celebrating.
We got 2 questions.
I wish somebody celebrated my birthday.
I know,
like
right?
It's amazing.
Hey, but those questions answered probably a lot of questions too.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. Shout out to everybody that's joining our podcast right now, opposed to watching Thursday Night Football, where it's the Colts and the Jets. And I heard Mike White is backseat balling out.
Yes, I picked him up and started him in our league.
I mean, he scored 1 touchdown so far from what I saw. Okay, so relax yourself a little bit.
No, I can't relax. The fact he hasn't thrown 3 picks already, I'm excited. That's points. The rest of my team's good enough. Anyways,
we got one more question. I'm hyped. Is this the time to ask if a new GM would be appropriate? Who would you consider would have resulted in a fire sale of most vets? So I'm going to really quick before these fireworks go off again. I have 2 guys in mind if a new GM is considered for the position. Andy Weidel, who was, in my opinion, very influential in this year's draft. And my second one would be obviously the GOAT, Louis Riddick, because he's been plugged into what the Eagles have done in the past couple of years. He's been very heavy critical of what Howie and company have done the past couple of years. So it only makes sense that you bring a veteran like him, one who's finally seen the office from the outside looking in, and he has familiarity with the organization. So Andy Weidel and Louis Riddick are my options, but Howie's not going nowhere.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know. I think that Jeff Lurie's like a familiarity guy. So I think previous thing. I don't know why Joe Douglas wanted to leave to go to the Jets, but I could see that, him getting an interview to come back. Like the long list of personnel people that have been with the Eagles, I could see them getting a chance. I think that Jeffrey Lurie is going to hire a guy he's familiar with. I could even see like a conglomerate of like 6 different guys that all went to high school with Jeff Lurie, just like being the new GM. But the conversation's been going on, man. Like it's been years that we should probably have had a new GM. He does a lot of things well. But I always think back to the Browns, right? They brought in a new GM when it was time to rebuild. They recouped all their picks. They traded away everyone. And when time came to draft, they got a new GM. And I should know these names off the top of my head, but it's late. But yeah,
Andrew Berry. The name is Andrew Berry for $1 million. Andrew Berry.
Perfect. Who is it before Andrew Berry?
These.
I'm not going down that road. Anyways, but yeah, similar. So if we could get into that situation where, okay, either if it's a new GM or just someone else that's, and to be honest, like we said, it looked like a better draft this year. But I'm not buying into that. I think that he just needs someone else holding his hand while he's drafting, and he does a lot of good stuff elsewhere. I don't know if he's going anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere either. Like how he does do 2 of the 3 things right. You know what I'm saying? Draft sucks, but free agency and cap, he's pretty genius in those areas. You know what I'm saying? Like
sure.
People say push back, but everybody pushes back contracts. That's just part of the NFL in general. Every GM does it. The only GM I would even want is if we can talk Ozzie Newsome out of retirement. Because he knows how to build a defense over there, and that them Raven boys look good after he left. So that's really the only one I really will want in as an Eagle GM. But at the same time, Howie's a smart man. You know what I'm saying? He set himself up to stay. You know what I'm saying? Like he made moves for the future. He's like, you know what? Because now he got to be like, hey, I've got us these picks. You know what I'm saying? We only got 2 first rounds that could turn into 3. You can't kick the guy out the door that gave you those 3 first rounds either. But like you said, maybe he should stick to the numbers. Maybe he should stick to something like that. But like you said, he had a better draft this year, so maybe you do get that. Maybe change his the semantics of his role. You know what I'm saying? Or add another person in there to make sure those draft picks get picked right. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, Howie does a pretty decent job. Like, he's gotten some good players. Like, you guys, we just talked about him. The Jay Ajayi, LeGarrette Blount. Those are picks that he picked up, that helped us win the Super Bowl. So without those picks and without Howie making those moves, we don't have a ring right now. So, he definitely done some good things. Like I said, the draft part, he's getting better at, I guess. Like, we got to fully see this draft class finish developing. But he did a pretty good job, I thought, this year. Maybe it's some of those coaches that we have. Maybe because he had a room full of young guys that, watch football all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, get this guy type of thing. Help them out there. So we'll see what happens with that. But I don't think Howie's going anywhere. Everybody just needs to stop thinking about that one. I think he set himself up, on purpose. A smart man. Like, okay. And then him and Lori are such best friends. Like, that's something that's bigger than the sport itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, that bond, that friendship, that love for each other is just like, that's the bro love. You know what I'm saying?
It's more than bro love. That's that daddy and son love.
It's gonna have to take a lot of.
I said, come here, sons. Right in the armpit.
Decision. Like, if Howie sucked at his money, and he sucked at the picks where he was like 1 for 3, then I could see him moving. But since he's still 2, he hooked him up with a nice little money situation. He knows how to get them free agents. I think we're good there.
I don't think Howie's a terrible GM. I just think he's not the greatest at listening to his advisors, like the Andy Weidos, the people on the scout team. Thank God he didn't listen to Tim Donahue, who wanted I forgot the guy's name over at Milton Williams. But still, I mean, I feel like the jury's still out on Howie. It shouldn't be so far against him. It's just, if Howie's around, you cannot avoid Russell Wilson coming to the Eagles.
Which is what we want anyway.
I'm gonna. I personally want. I already did it. I'm sorry, Birdgang. I already did it in Madden. Russell Wilson is my QB1 right now, just because I'm a huge Russell Wilson fan. I love, and he wears my favorite number 2.
He's good.
But yeah, I mean, we finished all the questions. They were heavy packed questions. For a Thursday night, I was not expecting these kind of questions, to be honest. But first and foremost, huge shout out to Morgan, who's had the busiest schedule that I've ever seen a 27-year-old have in my life.
Appreciate that, man.
Shout out to Birdgang, who
Chris got a question.
Wait, what Chris? Oh no! Oh God!
All right. No, continue your spiel. Right,
okay.
I like it. Keep going.
Yeah.
Shout out to Birdgang, who's done a phenomenal job in growing his platform. Man. So huge shout out to you, man. I mean, when you first came into our chat and asked one of us to jump on, I had no idea who you were, man. And doing the research on you, like, dude, like, phenomenal job. Huge shout out to you and your beautiful family.
Thank you.
The question is for Morgan. I swear, if it's a question about me being a creep somehow, some way, we're gonna have issues on the podcast.
Do I allow this? All right, Chris.
Can you fire somebody that already quit?
We got to do okay. Question from Chris.
Did you ask the question?
We also got to mention our sponsor.
Oh yes. This is brought to you by TickPick. Better prices, same seats, and on top of that, you do not have to pay the extra fees to see your Eagles play at the link or anywhere away. So make sure you guys hit the promo link down below for TickPick. Like I said, it's way better than going to the other guys that I don't want to say their names. Here's a fantasy question. I don't want to say their names, but if you go through TickPick, you don't have to pay the extra fees. So definitely focus on that. All right, guys. Yeah. The damn question is: want to trade for Jalen Hurts? DM's open.
I got my team's pretty stacked, so I see why he's. Anyways,
I mean, if you have a running back, we could talk.
I lost. I lost.
Like you have no running backs. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, that was pretty hard.
I lost both my running backs.
I got Josh Jacobs. I got
Derrick Henry and Miles Sanders. So, yeah. Birdgang, thank you for coming on, man. Man. And your beautiful family. Shout out
always
to you guys.
Always a pleasure talking to you, man. Had a good time last time. Had a great time this time as well. So
yeah, man. You guys, like I said, you guys are welcome to come on my show whenever you guys like, man. I always like getting those great Eagles content creators on the show and talking them birds, man. That's what I do. And 24/7 it seems like.
For sure.
That's what I do. Thanks again. Honor being on the show with you guys. It was awesome. You know, I've always wanted to be on Flipping the Birds, so I did it. I did it.
We appreciate it, brother.
Appreciate that.
But to everybody out there, I'm Bryan Cameron. He's Morgan Burkett. And again, huge shout out to Birdgang real quick. Just plug your stuff where they can find you and all your great content.
Yeah, man. You guys go subscribe to Birdgang31 on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I'm also on Twitter, Birdgang31_P. Follow me over there. You know, love talking Eagles football all the time. You can also catch me on my network, BGN Sports Media. You know, that's the NFL network, but we got a lot of Eagle shows on there. But we got some Cowboy shows, we got some Niner shows. You know, it's growing, it's building. So go subscribe to them too as well. A lot of great content creators. We got merch shops, everything's all of it. So once you subscribe, you see all that stuff. Much love to all you guys, man. And go Birds. Fly,
Go
Eagles,
Birds.
fly.
Absolutely.
Yes,
You said it best.